Okay, so it's about 3:15 a.m. I woke up about 2 hours ago, and I had this dream about plants. I don't know if you've seen the movie The Happening, but I had this dream about being a plant, uh, about understanding the plants, the trees, everything else in nature. I'm very connected to nature, and I can feel when I'm uncomfortable, the wind picks up, and I feel something different in the air, and it either makes me sweat, or it warms me up, or I feel it in the inside, and I feel it on the outside. I can feel it from other people, um, even insects and stuff like that, like spiders. I seem to be very attracted to spiders, and spiders are very attracted to me ever since I can remember. I can see them in the spiritual realm as well as in the physical. And whenever I think of spiders, I always think of protection, like spider senses. Um, and I can actually move my eyes in a way where I can see. This is what I picture. I picture two eyes here and two eyes here. And it gets glossy. It looks really glossy to me. And I can actually see and feel everything, but it has a gloss on it so that it's almost as if it zooms in. It's almost as if the picture zooms in. And yeah, so I woke up this morning and the dream was talking to me about plants and how nature tries to help make you be happy, help to make you happy. Because whenever I felt uncomfortable and I would feel a change that would actually try to exalt my resources, it's almost as if whatever was making me feel uncomfortable, I would feel uncomfortable, and then nature would actually do something different, and then I would feel my body react to that, and I would feel a release. I would feel some sort of release in my body, whether it was sweat or I was shivering, or if I was really warm, I would feel my skin kind of prickle. And it's like a release of energy. And I can always picture what the energy looks like when it happens. I can actually picture it. Like whenever it's really, really hot, or you feel really uncomfortable in a situation, you can actually feel your pores open up, and it's like a release. You can actually feel it. And yeah, so my dream was talking about plants. It was like I could see a picture of plants and this white flower. It's like got yellow in the center, I think, like yellow and black in the center. And then it's got, I think it's a daisy maybe, and it's got white petals. And when I went on my road trip to Pennsylvania, I was really curious about tastes. And I remember seeing that flower in their garden. So I picked it, and I took one of the white leaves and I put it in my mouth. One of the white leaves, one of the white petals, put it in my mouth, and it tasted very, very bitter. And the first thing I think of bitter, I think of poison, because that's what I learned in my psychology class. So then I was like, well, I don't really like that. So I didn't swallow it. I just sort of spit it out. And then I got some water, and I put water in my mouth, and it sort of foamed up, like it was some sort of chemical or something. So I felt a little uncomfortable with that, but I feel like it unlocked some sort of door in my mind to understand something about nature and chemical reactions. Um, and so now I have these occasional dreams about plants and how they're trying to connect with us, and they're trying to make us happy in situations where we feel very uncomfortable. And so when I woke up, I realized that my roommate had just laid down to go to sleep, and then I woke up like immediately, and it was like spirit was telling me that whatever energy distribution was happening, I needed to get up and I needed to follow my heart. So I got up, I went downstairs, and I felt really uncomfortable. So I went outside. Uh, I tried a Parliament cigarette, and I felt uncomfortable. So I stopped doing that. I came back inside. I felt the need for milk and peanut or almond M&Ms. So I tried that, and I felt a little more comfortable. But then a little bit after that, I felt uncomfortable again, and I was like, "What's going on here?" So then I saw a picture in my mind. Uh, I saw a picture in my mind to what did I try? I tried this, I think. Now these cigarettes, it says pyramid. I'm not sure if it's backwards or not. When I went across the country, I found these in the store, and I have never seen pyramid cigarettes. And like pyramid energy is something that had been brought to my attention this summer when I went on vacation to Sedona, Sedona, Arizona, and my medium had told me that I had blue pyramid energy. I had the ability to use blue pyramid energy. And I thought that was really interesting because they also have, and these are, I'm pretty sure these are new because they don't even have them here in Connecticut. It was like just kind of going across the country. I saw these and I was like super curious about it because I had been told not even a couple weeks before I saw these that I had blue pyramid energy, and then bam, these cigarettes show up. I was like, well, of course I have to try this. So when I first went in there, all they had was I think all they had was the blue and the red. And there's something about blue and red that I really enjoy. It's something about blue that makes you very calm. It's something that I associated with a lot as a child. And then the red, there's something about red and nature and danger. But I also realized that red, it's also like an excitement factor, you know? It's like that fight or flight response duality that I find really interesting. Because I always picture like what's in the middle, you know, like what's in the middle. And I also find it interesting that these are the colors, it's gold and it's blue. And these are the colors that I associate with Egypt. Actually, that's interesting. When I go like this, it looks like a sunset behind it, behind the pyramid. Um, so I always associate that with Egypt, and Egypt is a really big thing to me because I have, you know, I was having dreams all the time about underground burial tombs, and it was like I'd see an actual schematic and maps of like where these tombs are, and then I had a dream about an Anubis, but the Anubis was sort of like anthropomorphic, like this, but it was like a fluffy dog cat, and it was blue, and I think it was mostly blue and white, but I think there was purple in there too. And I remember that this Anubis, anthropomorphic Anubis, was frozen. It was like in a block of ice, and I knew that I had to release that by melting the ice. And so the only thing I had available was like my own body heat. So I was like using my mouth like to lick the ice away, and I was using my hands. I was trying to use my own body heat to release this magical character from being frozen in time. And you know, this was a long time ago. This was many, many years ago. And that's the reason why I got this tattoo on my arm. And then ever since I got the tattoo, I no longer dreamed of Egypt anymore. I dreamed in Sanskrit. I could actually, like, I would talk in Sanskrit in my dream, and others would talk in Sanskrit. And I never knew it was Sanskrit until I took a world religion class, and then the words that she would talk about in class, the teacher, I was like, whoa, I dreamed about that word. So I thought that was really interesting that somehow we have this like intuitive cellular memory that knows every single language. And I speak to spirit in a telepathic nature, so it's almost as if whenever you talk, it doesn't really matter what the language is because the communicating tool is like this. It just, if you listen with whatever is whatever that telepathic communication is coming through to, you can actually hear what they're saying without having to try to make sense of whatever the language is, which I think is really interesting. And my imaginative nature, of course, is like super attracted to, frequencies and colors, and so, I picked these two up just because I was super curious. And then when because I just got back from this other road trip to Sedona about a week ago, and I drove back from Sedona back to Connecticut, and then I noticed that they now have red, blue, orange, green, like they have, I mean, that's all I saw, but that was like only a week after I had seen these for the very first time, and they don't even have them here on the East Coast yet. So I just thought that was really interesting that I would be told about having this blue pyramid energy like conduit within me from my past lives, and then bam, these cigarettes pop up. I thought that was pretty wild. Um, so, so I getting back to when I was eating something and I felt uncomfortable, and my ma, that's the main conduit that I have to the spiritual realm, was like, look, we send you pictures for a reason. What do you picture? And I'm like coffee, and they're like, okay, well, you know, you specifically chose this location because it has everything that you absolutely like to have, and we got like a Dunkin' Donuts not even 400 feet away, and I like coffee and donuts, really really good. So they're like, if you see a picture, just do it. It may not make sense, just do it. I'm like, okay. So I go and I get a coffee, I get a donut, a pumpkin pie donut. I love pumpkin. And I sip it, and I felt like so much better. And they're like, you see, this is what people need to do. They said, don't worry about health. Don't worry about smoke. Don't worry about coffee. Don't worry about too much. They said that's the delicate balance, is that people wait too long to follow their hearts. People wait too long to do whatever it is that they want to do. They said it's so interesting the way that you look at things, and you can find the potential and the positivity in it. They said, Mom was saying, that's the reason why we chose you to speak your mind to other people, because there's so much negativity that's put into these substances that make people feel better, when in all reality, it just takes a little bit of an imagination to find the positivity out of it. Because I feel healthy as an ox, and I don't even do a whole lot of physical activity right now. I just walk around and I look at my immediate environment, and I see so much magic and so much order and so much beauty. Um, and when I think of something and then I actually see it produced in my immediate reality, I'm like, wow, this is so interesting, because I find sexual energy to be like one of the most powerful conduits that I can even imagine. Like, being in the military, you're not allowed to have your hands in your pockets. I don't understand that. I mean, we have pockets to put stuff in, but your hands get cold. And sometimes I don't like to wear gloves. So what I would do is, we tend to put our hands like here, or like behind us or something. Like, we're always trying to keep our hands warm, and we do this instinctually because these are energy powerhouses, and the sexual organs are like, they're energy, life force energy. I mean, that's how we create life. We create life through these energy chakras. And there's so much heat and warmth in your sexual area, that we just do it instinctually without even thinking about it. So whenever I think of sexual energy, I think of orange. And when I first went through, I didn't see the orange pyramid cigarettes, but when I came back, they were there. I was like, what? Like, it was like just a powerful, it was like thought mixed with total excitement, total love, excitement, like so happy that like I could just think of something and then see it in my immediate reality was so, it's so magical to me that that happens. And it's not like, you know, in this moment, it's like you don't even, I don't even smoke because it's something that I need. It's like so fun to just use creativity and imagination, because whenever I imagine smoking these things, I imagine releasing this actual energy out of me and into my atmosphere. And I feel as if I am literally creating reality by using my imagination, and then checking in. Like whenever I eat something, like say a donut, right? It's a compound. I know I flip-flop with some of the videos that I make, but I'm learning as I go. And there's something about this compound element, you know? And it's not even about what it's made of. The fact that it's sweet and it's absorbing and it's got, you know, it's the texture, and there's something about it that makes it so smooth and easy to digest. And it's just, it makes you happy, you know what I mean? Like sugar makes you happy. It's really, really good. And it's not about like, you know, I would eat like 6, 7 donuts in a sitting as a kid, and I was like this same skinny twig running around all crazy town, and I was happy, you know? I was totally happy. You never worry about sweets, you never worry about nothing as a kid. You're just totally happy. And it's like, if something makes you happy, if you really enjoy it, then just enjoy it. Like, that's the reason why these tools are here. That's the reason why all of this stuff happens and things are constantly changing and updating, is because it makes us happy for a change. These things make us excited to stop and think and be like, wow, what's next? Like, what's possible? What's next in that potential idea? And, you know, I think we should stop. We should stop worrying about what will affect our health, because in all reality, I think that the worry is what makes our health degrade. Is the worry factor. I mean, people have been smoking things for centuries, centuries. You know, there's like a 6,000-year-old practice where they would actually look at the sun in like the morning and at dusk when it's like a little gentler. And people, you know, there are people around the world right now that literally get up a little bit before the sun comes up, and they will look at the sun when it's its gentlest and just stand there for like, you know, some people do it for like an hour. I mean, you work your way up, obviously you don't want to just do all that at once, but you know, plants do this all the time. They just, you know, everything does that. It takes in the sunlight, it takes in all the frequencies, and it's totally fine. It's totally fine. You know, and I was practicing that in Afghanistan this last tour. I would literally, you know, I read about it, so I would get up before the sun. Well, we had a night schedule, so really it was like I would just kind of be walking back to where I sleep, and I would look at the sun for like, you know, first it would be like 5 seconds, and then I would do 10 seconds, and then I would do 15, the next day I would do 20, you know, it was like I did increments, and I was so happy. I was so happy with that, because I knew that there is something amazing about the sunlight and its rays, because everything else uses it. Everything that we have around us, all the plants, all the animals, they are touched by sun all day long, and they're totally happy, you know? And it's like that respect for everything that is within our own house, our own planet. And it's amazing that it's so simple. It's so simple. And it doesn't matter what package it comes in. It's knowing that everything is created to make us happy. And, you know, instead of rushing our time clocks, we could just enjoy all these new things, all these really magical new things. You know, if there's something, you know, my mom's always telling me, if there is something that really excites you, you have got to look for the signs. Look around. They're like, you know, you got really excited about the pyramid energy. We could see that you got really excited. So when you stopped at that gas station going across the country and you saw pyramid cigarettes and you lit up and immediately you listened to that picture, that makes us excited, knowing that we are making people happy, because we don't have to worry about conserving this and saving that. And then, you know, it's all about intention. You know, if something makes you uncomfortable, stop. Ask us. You know, we can already feel when someone's uncomfortable, so we try to do something to make it more comfortable. And it's all about looking for that. And then, you know, when something happens in your immediate environment, in your immediate reality, that changes something, and you notice it, you know, you take the time to like read between the lines and be like, hey, wait a minute. I was just thinking about that. Like patterns. I always look for patterns in dreams in my current reality. If I think about something and then I hear it in a movie, I'm like, all right, why did that happen again? Why did I see that? It doesn't feel like deja vu. It feels like it's a pattern for a reason. Why is that showing up again? Is that something that I should pay attention to? You know what I mean? It's like you're literally communicating with other realms because they're communicating with you too. And I just felt the need to get that out because I kept trying to like force myself to sleep at a certain time. I kept forcing myself to try to get up when the sun gets up and try to go to bed when the sun goes down. And you know, my mom was like, look, you know, when you feel tired, sleep. If you're not tired, stop fighting it. It's not productive. So if you're uncomfortable, do something difficult. Like, I know that you're feeling like you don't want to do this, the motivation, you know, if you don't feel like you have motivation, then just give it some time. Just give it some time. Just wait a second. But if you feel really uncomfortable, you know instinctually what to do. If it's just to go outside and breathe some fresh air. If I immediately woke up and knew I needed this and this, and I tried it out, and I felt comfortable, but then I felt uncomfortable again. And it's like these tools about going to get a coffee, you know, going to get a donut, smoking a cigarette, going for a jog, like whatever it is that you picture in your mind, it's to work through something difficult that is in your mind. If your physical body feels uncomfortable, do something physical. If your mental, you know, I mean, whatever, you know, everyone has their own system of operating, you know, to be in a comfortable zone. And my mom was like, look, you don't have to be uncomfortable, but if you are uncomfortable, do it. You know, just do whatever it is that you think will make you feel comfortable, and don't rush it. Don't rush it. You know, we'll talk you through it. We're gonna talk you through it, but you gotta tell us what you do like by just doing it, by just being totally erratic and getting all these frequencies, just because you're excited. Like that's the ticket, is the fact that you see something more than just, you know, instead of looking at cigarettes and being like, oh, it's so unhealthy. You know, I looked at this medium and was like, wow, cool. I can use like this orange sherbet sexual pyramid energy, and I can breathe in that sexual energy, and I can calm down, and I can give back to the earth this frequency that I took in and I filtered in my lungs and through my system, and then I let it out. And it's like, then I would take the cigarette and I would sort of like watch the smoke go, and I watch the smoke, and it would literally, I can see the changes in color in the smoke. Sometimes I would see like mint, like when I take a shower, I see mint. You know, it's like if you just take the time to check it out, to check out what you're doing, instead of racing your mind pockets, and you just stop for a second and you look, you'll find you see so much more than you could even possibly imagine, you know? And it's like something about the pineal gland and whatever it's capable of seeing, that third eye, you just have to look for it. You gotta stop and smell the roses every once in a while, you know, if you're feeling uncomfortable or whatever. And nature is that for me. I just go outside. I'd have panic attacks so much when I was a kid because I would be around so much energy, like lights and color and people and noise, and I was so sensitive. I couldn't stand fireworks. Like I liked the way fireworks looked, but I couldn't stand the noise. I was just way too sensitive, and I'm still very sensitive. So, you know, I had to realize that instead of just being overwhelmed and too sensitive, I had to realize that it's a tool that actually helps me be more in tune with my reality, be in tune with other people's reality, their feelings, their heart, what makes them hurt. And that's what helps me relate and talk to people, is because I can literally feel their frequency. My heart can feel when somebody's uncomfortable. And sometimes I think it's just me, but in all reality, I think what I feel is my entire location, the entire world. When things change, it's like, when I was in Arizona and I felt the earth, like, I literally felt like a wave, like this earth movement. And it's like, sometimes when I feel something, it might be something else going on in my immediate environment. So, I just wanted to share that, get that out there, and yeah, thanks for watching.